me introduce the team. I'm so proud to see these folks. They're delightful. The Alberto Baron, Senior Developer, Bobby Bailey, our Customer Success Manager, Maria Barrios, a Product Marketing Manager, Verity Blake, Senior Product Marketing Manager, Marie Bew, another Senior Product Marketer, Andre Kuziak, a Senior Product Marketing Manager, the one and only Jamie Eklund, Principal Engineer and Creator of ScriptRunner, the legendary Katie Kelly, Head of Product Support. I have lots of great adjectives for all the earlier folks I introduced too. I just left them off until I got to Jamie. My apologies, you're all number one. Nico, the guy, Nedoklanov, Engineering Team Lead, the amazing Jess Thompson, Brand Content Communications Team Lead, and all-around joy, and myself. I am your host, Ryan Spilkin. I work for the Adaptivist Group, for which ScriptRunner is a part, as a Senior Communications and Employee Engagement Manager. Really, I'm just so glad to be here with all of these folks today. These are wonderful people to work with, and the stuff that they're building is fantastic. So let's also, in the background, we have Katie Perkins and Lisa Murray, two incredible colleagues of ours who are going to be making sure that people are getting fed questions, and we're keeping an eye on the chat and helping me in the background. So Katie and Lisa, thank you all. Thank you so much. This whole thing wouldn't be happening without those two. So yay, thank you. All right, moving on. First things first, it's Katie Kelly, the Head of Product Support at Adaptivist. Katie, what's happening?
Hey, Ryan. Hey, everyone. Thanks for letting me speak today. This is kind of a general announcement. It's not only for our ScriptRunner customers, for everyone that uses any of the Adaptivist products. We've moved our support portal over to JSM Cloud recently. So that's been within the last couple months. So if you haven't filed a support ticket with us recently, you might see a new feel, new login process for the portal. So on the next slide, just kind of explains a couple things about that. So we've migrated successfully off server. So we're all in the same kind of predicament as everyone else, getting off server. We're now on cloud. We have a blog about that if you'd like to check it out. So if you did file a ticket with us in the past, all your historical data has been moved over. So your tickets do remain there for you to look up. We now use the my.atlassian.com login. So that should be a very easy process, goes through the normal my.atlassian login account across all your products. And we've got new branding across the portal. So everything now falls under the Adaptivist Group. So that's for all of our customers, not only ScriptRunner, but if you haven't filed a ticket with us in the past few months, you might see a new look and feel. So feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions about using ScriptRunner, run into any difficulties, questions, feature requests. We'd love to hear from you.
Wonderful. Katie Kelly, thank you so much. We'll get those links dropped into the chat as soon as we can as well. All right, Katie, thanks for everything you do, and take care. Have a great one. All right, next up, Verity Blake.
Thank you.
Oh, hi, Verity, go ahead.
Hi all. Hey everyone. As Ryan said, I'm Verity. I'm the Senior Product Marketing Manager over in the ScriptRunner for Jira Data Center team, and I'm excited to tell you about some enhancements we've been making. So if you want to move along, Ryan, onto the next slide, thank you. So as I said, we've been busy making some enhancements into a really useful feature called UI Fragments. And UI Fragments allows you to customize the UI of your Jira instance with buttons, links, banners, images, anything within your imagination. And some of these latest enhancements include improving the fragment locator tool. And that's designed to show you the location or section where to put these fragments. So you can now enable and disable the fragment locator from within a script fragment. And previously this was on the main fragments page and it was hidden away. So that's really useful for you now. And the fragment locator on the script fragments page has also been updated to a toggle button for better visibility. And previously that locator was a clickable link. And we've also added a feature so that you can now duplicate a script fragment from the fragments ellipsis menu. So that now saves you some time. So yeah, really excited about those. So let's move along, Ryan. Thank you. So fragment locations are key to creating a UI fragments. So example, if you want to create a button, so web link or a banner, web panel, you need to know where to put it. So we've helped make that easier with the ability to create a fragment directly from a specific location. So that allows for faster creation of fragments when the fragment locator is enabled. And I'm about to give you a quick demonstration of that. But before I do, I just want to tease something exciting that's coming. So coming this autumn, we're releasing a simple wizard to help you quickly and easily set up the UI fragments and some shortcuts with popular customization. So we're really excited about that. So watch this space. But until then, I've got a little demo for you. So if you just move over to the next slide, please. Perfect. So yeah, let's delve into how to create a UI fragment from a location. And this is me from the past. So this is pre-recorded, but if you spare a few minutes and you can see how to create that.
It's you from the past in the present.
I'm going to show you how you create a UI fragment from a location. So first, head over to UI Fragments. And we're going to turn on the Fragments Locator tool. So let's enable that. Also, you'll see from the pop-up here is that we do recommend that you don't enable a Fragments Locator in the production system. Only enable it if you're working on your test system, as it will appear for every user on your instance. So let's enable. Great. And I'm going to set up a maintenance banner. So I will go up here, top left, and I will create a web panel. And I'm going to call this maintenance. And here is maintenance planner. You can ignore these two here. And I already have a script ready to use for this, but you can find the script inside our Fragments documentation around creating a web panel, and we will share the links for that. So let's click add, and let's refresh. And there we go, easy, our banner's up there. And you can manage the banner anytime through here, so you can edit, disable. So I'm going to disable that because I have finished with it. Let's refresh again, and it's gone. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is I want to create a web item, and I want to create a really useful quick link to Atlassian community. So what I'm going to do now is going to turn the locator back on again, enable. And I'm going to click on this button here, and I'm going to create a web item. I'm going to name it community. Community link. And the menu text. So just going to have a simple name, community. And the weight, I'm going to say 110. So this is all about where you're placing it within that web item, and I want to have it as far right as possible. We don't need any of these details here, but we do need the link. So when you do click on that web item where you're going to send it, so I've got a link here, which is the link to Atlassian community page. So let's add. And we're going to refresh. And there we go. We've got our useful quick link to community there. And as I said, you can manage it anytime by disabling it here, or you can delete it when you no longer need it. Thank you very much. I'm now back in the present. So yeah, so that was just a really simple demo. There's a lot more you can do with that feature. It's a really valuable feature. So please do head over to the Fragments documentation to learn more. So yeah, so as said, we're on the next slide. So we've saved me asking you to do that, Ryan. But before I finish, I do want to give a final shout out to our ScriptRunner for Jira data center customers. So those of you on the call, to say you've got 2 days left before our product survey closes on the 14th of June. So that's this Friday. It takes 5 to 10 minutes to complete, and you'll be entered in a prize draw to win a selection of prizes, including some gift vouchers, ScriptRunner merchandise. Who doesn't love some ScriptRunner merchandise? So that's really exciting. And the link to the surveys in the chat. And we will be reading every response. I do promise you that. And we really value your feedback. So do take a few minutes if you can. And that's it. Thank you very much. Over to Maria, who's next.
Thank you, Verity, for the intro. Hello, everybody. My name is Maria, and I'm the Product Marketing Manager for ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud. And today, I'm going to be taking you through a little overview of our recently launched Intelligent Editor. This editor, as you can see by the title, is now live for all cloud ScriptRunner products. So that means on top of Jira Cloud, Confluence Cloud too. So if we could go into the next slide. Thank you. So our new Intelligent Editor that you might be familiar with if you use ScriptRunner for Jira Data Center provides you with an easier and a smoother coding experience. Since first of all, it helps you cut back on context switching. So before, you probably needed to have your documentation right in front of you when building your automations to determine which functions were available, what were their parameters, their data structure, etc. But now you get all that information within the editor itself with autocompletes for the Atlassian REST APIs and for Groovy. So you don't need any of that since you can prompt it to give you the right suggestions and functions whenever you need them. The Intelligent Editor also helps you reduce errors with functions such as changing all occurrences instead of doing this manually, and also first bracket completion. So all in all, I would say that this new editor for cloud provides uninterrupted automation building. It makes your life easier when writing code by being more responsive. For instance, when you're trying to find functions or variables, and is also interactive with you as you're scripting. If in case you don't remember something, it will always try to find it on the script. So right now I'm gonna try to share my screen to do a live demo of the editor and show you some of these things. So if I share my screen, let's see. I hope everybody can see it fine. So because my time is limited today, I'm gonna only be showing you a very short demo of the 4 key features within this Intelligent Editor in Cloud. I'm using my Jira space to showcase this. And these 4 features I want to demo are autocompletions, go to declarations, bracket completion, and change all occurrences that I mentioned before as well. So let's start with autocompletions actually. So as I mentioned before, now you don't need to be constantly resourcing to documentation pages since there's no need to check which functions are available, parameters, data structure, etc., because everything lives within the editor. So for example, if we chose to type logger here, you'll see that you get all the functions are available for logger. Also, you can see all the parameters and which data type they are and all the options or the suggestions available that you can choose from. So let me revert back. So another example I wanted to show you is that on this line 13, we have a series of spaces that we actually want to get into a list. So if we were to type spaces other than actually suggesting you the word spaces because it's found within the script. If you were to click on the dot, you will see all the options you have available, all the functions available for spaces, like adding them, etc. So before I move on to the next function, it's worth mentioning that the autocompletes are available for Groovy, Confluence, and Jira API in cloud, and also for custom ScriptRunner defined script variables. So moving on to our next feature, which is go to declarations. As you can see here, we have one long declaration in this script. So if we were to click on this arrow here and make it smaller, this long declaration is being called here at the bottom. So probably this is a feature that would be a lot more useful in a longer script with multiple declarations. But if I were to click here, right click, and press go to declaration, it will direct me to the declaration where this is from. Into regarding bracket completion, in the old editor, you needed to know every time how many brackets you had defined, and you had to make sure you wrote them, like you open them and close them each time. Fortunately, with our intelligent editor in cloud, that is all handled for you. So for instance, if I were to type, let's say if and open a bracket, the editor will automatically close it, which makes a big difference because this is just something less to worry about when writing your script, and it will obviously help you reduce errors as well while typing. And last but not least, we have change all occurrences. Probably you're familiar with this function, but if you press Control F, oops, I didn't do it in the right place, sorry. You'll see here that you can find any function in the script, and if you click on this arrow here, you can replace them for another one. So if, let's say, I were to look for, and we have the logger info function and replace it with, let's say, logger error, and click on this button here, this will just replace all instances where that is mentioned, as opposed to having to do that manually, which also saves you time while building your automations. So that would be on my side. I think Katie and Lisa will be sharing a link to all the actually functionality for the intelligent editor in a minute, if they haven't done it yet. So you can see more in detail everything else that is available there, plus a demo. Thank you.
Absolutely. Thank you, Maria. That's fantastic. That intelligent editor looks awesome. We've just dropped a link to the blog in the chat, so you can read more about it. And yeah, that's available in Jira and Confluence Cloud right now, yeah?
That's correct.
Right. Thank you. Moving on. Next up, we have Andrei Kuziak and Nico Nadoklinov, ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud. HAPi, we're getting happy. Gentlemen, go on.
Thank you, Ryan. Yes, my name is Andrei. I'm a product marketing manager on the ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud team. And yes, I'm here to start by introducing HAPi, one of the biggest ScriptRunner innovations in recent times. First launched on Jira Data Center, and also more recently has become available on Confluence Data Center, and which is now making its way to Jira Cloud and is set to launch in its first version very soon, later this summer. So I'm sure many of our watchers here today have heard about HAPi and used it on other ScriptRunner products, but for those that are not yet familiar with it, HAPi is our intuitive managed API that was created to make it as easy as possible to write scripts in ScriptRunner. With HAPi, scripts become easier to read because it was built to be as close as possible to natural language, and also much easier to write thanks to its autocomplete function, which prompts the next methods and parameter names that you would use. So basically, this means that using ScriptRunner is about to get much easier and more intuitive, regardless of the level of expertise, whether you are an advanced or a beginner user. And I think the best way to actually to understand what HAPi is and how it will change the way you automate and customize Jira Cloud with ScriptRunner is by seeing it in action. So I will hand over to Nico for a live demonstration of HAPi.
Thanks, Andre. Hi, everyone. I'm Nico. I built ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud. And let me tell you about HAPi, which is one of the things I'm really, really excited. I probably haven't been excited as much as this to launch anything on ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud as this. And let me show you why. So it started on data center, and it started with this. ScriptRunner was, as Andre mentioned, not the easiest thing to write, and probably not nearly as easy to understand. So here's an example of a data center script. And for anyone who hasn't written one of these recently, I can tell you this thing creates a ticket. This thing creates a task. And we have a lot of stuff we need to understand and know in advance so that we can achieve this action. And I can tell you with HAPi, this is simple as, well, that. So I can run the same code, I can get the same results. Now, why am I so excited about this? Because cloud is not much different. Cloud, ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud, when I say cloud, I mean ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud, looks different, but the level of difficulty is pretty similar. Instead of knowing anything about the Jira Java APIs that work on data center, now you have to learn a whole new set of things called REST APIs for Jira Cloud. So even if you are a wizard coding in data center, come to cloud, and you are a newbie straight ahead. So with the current situation that we have between the two platforms, the skills are not very transferable. And here's the good example of that. Previously, I showed you a script that creates a task, and this is how you create a task in Jira Cloud. Same result, completely different script. So if I run this code, it's going to make its business and it's going to produce a task. But because we've now got HAPi, when this completes, I will show you that I can do exactly the same thing here. I can write these 4 lines of code and I will get the same result. Now, here's the interesting thing. If you look at this very closely, because it's so much easier to read, you will see that the code here is exactly the same as the code there. And this is copy pasting from Jira Data Center to Jira Cloud and running the same ScriptRunner script with the same result. And that is what we can do for customers migrating from one platform to the other when we release HAPi for ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud. Now, not all the code is going to be copy pastable, but the one that is, it's going to be truly awesome. You can just copy paste and run. Thank you, everyone.
Well, Nico, you kind of blew my mind there. I never thought we'd see the day where you could take a data center script and just drop it in, but HAPi makes that possible. That is mind-blowing.
Indeed it does. Indeed it does. Yes, right. Yeah.
That's so cool. Really nice. All right. Oh, so sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say this is coming and pretty soon.
Yep. So I just wanted to kind of put side by side this comparison. You've just seen it in the demonstration from Nico, the standard Groovy scripting on the left and the HAPi code on the right. Basically, scripts can now be up to 70% shorter. So we can move to the next slide, please. And yeah, as I said before, very soon HAPi will become available for the ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud admins. And as you could see in the demo shown by Nico, this means that writing scripts will be much quicker. You'll also enjoy a better user experience because it supports what you've seen earlier from the intelligent code editor. It also means that creating automations and customizations with ScriptRunner will become easier and more accessible for any level of scripting expertise. And again, as you could see in the demo, migrations will require less effort, as HAPi can be the bridge to migrate many of your scripts from one hosting to another. Next slide, please. Yeah, this is just to reiterate again, because we think it's a very important part of the HAPi story. What you've seen earlier in the demo, basically, yeah, taking a script from data center to cloud now for some of them can become as easy as a copy paste with HAPi. Next slide, please. So the first release of HAPi is coming later this summer, and it will include those 6 methods that you can see on the right here on the slide. This is just the start of HAPi on cloud, and building it up will be a top priority for our team for the foreseeable future. So after the first release, support for more methods will be added incrementally. So yeah, that's the announcement on HAPi. So watch this space. It is coming to Jira Cloud very soon.
Well, Andre, Nico, thank you so much. I'm sure that made a lot of people very happy to get it with the. All right, moving on. Well, Andre, you're back.
Yes, I have another very brief update on behaviors. Well, an update and an announcement. So if we can just move to the next slide. Basically we continue our focus on behaviors and building behaviors. In case you've missed it, those are some of the latest fields that have been added to behaviors. On more fields on issue view, but also the parent field type on the create view. There will be some links for documentation dropped in the chat where you can see all the supported field types. And then I can move to the announcement, which is actually the more important part, which is behaviors, support for behaviors on transition view in its first version is come very soon this summer, potentially before HAPi. And here on the slide, you can actually see the fields that will be supported in this first release of behaviors on transition view. Again, as you might know from when we launched behaviors on create view and behaviors on issue view, we started with a set of fields, and then we continue to incrementally add more support for more field types. But yeah, this is what's going to be available on behaviors on transition view in its initial release. And that's all from me.
All right, awesome, Andre. Thank you very much. I am so impressed with the work that the team has done to bring behaviors to cloud. That's a big technical hurdle to clear, and they are still finding new ways to make it more interesting for us every day. So congratulations, team, and that is exciting stuff. Next up, we've got the legend, Bobby Bailey. Bobby, you're going to show us what's going on in ScriptRunner Connect with environment variables. So take it away, my man.
Hello, can you just confirm you can hear me right?
Sound great.
Cool.
Sound great, buddy.
Awesome. Okay, so I'm just going to share my screen really quick. Give me 2 seconds. Share this desktop. So with ScriptRunner Connect, so just a little bit of background very quickly, because obviously I have a limited amount of time. We have the environments feature in ScriptRunner Connect, which allows you to have multiple versions of the same workspace connected to different versions of your tool. One of the most common examples of this would be connecting your live environment to your live versions of products and your UAT environment to the UAT versions of those tools. What we've released now are variables that are unique to each environment you have. So this gives you the ability to define values that are unique to UAT environments and then have those same values defined for live environments, but no need to change your scripts. So one common example of that is custom field values. So if I go to my live environment, you can see I've got the environment variables here. And for some of my custom field values, I've defined the key and I've given it a value in the environments feature, which means that in the scripts, I can just reference that environment variable and then write code to go and update those values and transmit them. So you can see here in my live environment, all I'm currently doing is I'm updating the summary, but I have code available in UAT that is updating the summary and as well as a number of custom fields. So what I can do, if I go to the environment variables in UAT, you can see these custom field values are significantly different, but the code will still work when promoted up to live. So if I now go to release and deploy, which takes all of the code that's currently in the UAT environment and releases it as version 1.1 and release it to live, it is going to work successfully regardless of the fact that the code has not changed because we store all of the values in the environment variables. So if I now go to my instances, just to be aware, because this is 3 different Jira instances, can get very confusing very quickly. On the left-hand side, we have data center. On the right-hand side, I'm currently looking at the UAT version of Jira, and on this tab, also under the blue banner, we have live. So if I now go to update this ticket in Jira Data Center with, let's do Hello World here. And let's go and update this one to Hello World as well. And I'm going to do this as well. And this is a little bit of an additional functionality I'll explain afterwards. But just to show you, when I click update, the ScriptRunner Connect script will execute. And the code will execute across both environments. So you can see in my UAT environment, that's all been updated successfully. And if I go to my live environment, it's all been updated successfully as well, despite the fact the code is the same because we're able to handle different custom fields with the environment variables. Another common use case that most people may want to use this for is being able to map values from one point to another. So you may have noticed that in my data center instance, my dropdown has values 1, 2, or 3. And in my cloud environment, it's A, B, and C. So I've been able to map those across using the environment variable feature. So again, very simple. All you do is define the key, and then in the environment variable, you define what value and the value you want to map it to. And then in your script, all you need to be able to do is reference that environment variable and then get the correct value from. So when I get 1 from data center, I pass that in and it shoots out A on my cloud and my cloud environments. So a very useful feature to keep environments in sync, make sure everything's working, and also syncing different products that maybe have different values in different dropdowns makes it a lot easier to manage and control those values. I'm going to hand back to you because there's one more screen to show and talk about.
All right. No problem. Take your time, Bobby. Do you, is it a screen I've got?
Yeah, on the slideshow. Yeah. So we are also, if you haven't yet used ScriptRunner Connect, if you want to use ScriptRunner Connect, you can access ScriptRunner Connect going to app.scriptrunnerconnect.com. If you log in, and you can log into that today and start playing around with it for free. There's a free plan where you can try and test and play around with as many integrations as you want between as many different tools as you want. But if once you've played around and you decide that it is the tool that you want to use, you can get up to 50% off if you scan this QR code and access ScriptRunner Connect paid plan before, I believe it's the end of July we're running this until. But definitely a tool to run around and play with. Just so you're aware, if you're wondering what tools can I connect to ScriptRunner Connect, the answer is essentially everything. As long as it's got a REST API and as long as we can talk to it from our AWS infrastructure, we can communicate with it and we can integrate it into your solution, creating a more powerful software ecosystem for yourself.
Always awesome. Bobby, thank you very much. All right, folks. Next up is Alberto Baron, Senior Developer from Development Services at Adaptivist. Now, Alberto will be seeing a pre-recorded script-along demonstration But Alberto is in the chat, so if there are any questions about what we're about to watch, please feel free to drop them in there. All right, let's check out Alberto's work.
Hi, my name is Alberto. I work in Adaptavis since 4 years ago in the development services team. And what we are going to see today is a common example that we can find in our team to help a client to automate some different functionalities. Imagine, for example, that we have an issue with availability field, custom field, which has different values. For example, can be billable, non-billable, and we want that in case of being billable, of being changed to the billable option, we want to add as a watcher to the responsible of the project, and we would like to add a comment into the issue, for example. So these things can be automated into a script, and we are going to follow step by step how the team would do it. So I'm going to share the screen, and we are going to start. First thing that we have to know is that it's not necessary to start from zero. We have some examples here. And the first thing that we would like to be in our script is the availability value. So if we go to the examples, we are going to check that we have here the get select list option that allow us to have the value for custom field named by the ID. So here I have some issues that I have created inside the project. And for example, we are going to have, or we are going to create another one, which is the DS2. Okay, we are going to add it, and we have it here. So we have this billability issue, and we are going to have it non-billable value, for example. And according to that field, we are going to do three different things. The first one is going to be add as a watcher to the responsible of the project. The second one is going to be to change the billability to billability reviewed, this value. And the third one is to add a comment to make to the watcher known that we have changed something inside this issue. Okay, so we are going to detect the value, the first thing. So here we are going to put the DS2 and the availability custom name. And here we are going to get the value of that field. So in this case is non-billable. Okay, so what we want to do, we would like to do is that in case of having billable value, we are going to add a watcher, and after that we are going to add a comment, and after that we are going to update the issue with the reviewed value that we have mentioned. So first thing is to detect that we have the billable option selected. So if the value is billable, we are going to do things. Okay, what things we are going to do? First, add watchers, and we are going to create an external method, added watcher, that we are going to create here. So to add a watcher, what do we need? We have to know that in cloud, we have a guide with all the endpoints that we have called, that we are able to call to enjoy the Jira. Okay, so if we are here, what we need is related to watchers. For example, we are going to select this one, and here we have a post endpoint that adds a user as a watcher of an issue. So what we need is to call this endpoint, put in between quotes the account ID, according to the request body that we have here, the account ID of the user. So we are going to create the method, the first thing, which is the add watcher, and we are going to copy it here. So we have the result, which is a post calling this endpoint that we have here. Be careful because we need here the issue ID or key. And after that, we will have the headers and the JSON. Okay, we have to be sure here to insert the body. Okay, and the body that we are going to have is between quotes, according that we have mentioned. Okay, the account ID. The account ID that we have it here, and it's going to be given by parameters. So that's the watcher, and we need the issue dot key and the account ID. What account ID do we need? We are going to get the account ID of the responsible of the project. Imagine that we have several users here inside my Jira, and we have here the responsible. Imagine that it's this user that I have created. So the account ID of the user is representing with that, so I can get it directly here. And what I'm going to do here is to put the account ID directly. And the first part of the script is already done, which is to add as a watcher to the responsible of the project. The second thing that we want to do is to add a comment. Okay, so we are going to add a comment. We are going to pass similar parameters because we will have the comment body here, and we are going to say, hey, this issue has been updated, and we are going to create the same here, the same method, which is to add a comment and with the comment. To do this method, we have two options. We can go directly to the Jira Cloud platform. Here we have add a comment option. And here we have adds a comment to an issue, which represents the example that we can follow. Here we have the endpoint with the body data that we would like to pass. Another option that I haven't mentioned earlier is that we have library.adaptavis.com, which allow us, this is like a library of scripts that we can find for Jira, for Confluence, or for Bitbucket, and even related to different platforms, for cloud, for server. And here you can find different scripts that people has written and that Adaptavis has verified. For example, here, add a comment to an issue. So we can go to the code to check it directly, and we would like to get or to select only for cloud platforms. So, for example, this example is related to cloud, and this is an example of how to add a comment. So I'm going to copy this part because this is useful for me. And what we are going to do is to put directly the post. Here we have the issue key also, and we are going to change this part to have it in a similar way to the rest. Okay. And we are going to add a comment, and we only need to put the issue key and the comment body. Okay, I think is enough. So we have the second part of the script already done. And the third one is to update the value. So we would have, when the field contains the billable value, we would add a watcher as a watcher to the responsible of the project. We would add a comment, and finally we would change this value for already reviewed. Okay, so what we are going to do here is to update the issue, and you have to know here that there are some examples, and between them we have update issue that will allow us to change directly the issue, putting the fields that we need. Okay, so I'm going to create again here the update issue, and we would put here the same things. The parameter is the issue key, and we are going to change the fields because we don't want to change the summary option. We would like to change the custom field ID related to our field that we want to change. So in this case, we are going to change this thing. This is the custom field ID. And here we would have the value, which is value to change, for example. So we need to pass the custom field ID, and we need to pass the value that we would like to change. So in this case, the update issue, which is the last part of the script, needs to pass it as a parameter, the issue.key. We need the custom field ID, which is represented because of that. And what we need finally is the value that we want to change. So this is the billability reviewed. Okay. Review. So we are going to change that. I think that it's enough. So we are going to execute this script, and what it would do is to change, to add as a watcher to the responsible to the project, to add a comment into the issue, and finally to update the issue, changing the value of the custom field to make it know that the responsible has reviewed this issue, and everything is done in an automated way that will allow us in a future, for example, to put this comment in a listener that will allow us that each time that the issue was updated, for example, to check this field to make the responsible of the project knows that something has changed related to the availability of an issue. Okay, so we have here the non-billable value. So if we execute directly the script, anything is going to happen because it won't enter here into this part of the code. So the watchers won't be added, but any errors will appear. Okay. But here we are going to change it to billable, and we will run again the script. So in this case, we are going to see the watchers, the first thing, the comments, and the value of the custom field. Okay. So in this case, we have already checked that here we have between the watchers to the responsible of the project, which is the account ID that we have chosen in our Jira instance, the comment, hey, this issue has changed, and the billability that has changed its value for billability reviewed. So this is an easy script that we have chosen to make people know that we can automate lots of things to make companies easier their daily routine. And thanks to a ScriptRunner, we can change lots of things and we can automate them. So we are here to solve any problems and doubts. And thank you very much for everything, and to all of you.
Awesome, Alberto. Thank you very much. We're exiting the full screen. Going right back to that slideshow view, huh? Oh. Well, next up, we have Jess Thompson introducing ScriptRunner Leap. This is another pre-recorded video, but folks, hang on to your seats because ScriptRunner Leap is absolutely some really cool, adventurous stuff for the ScriptRunner family. All right, so without
Hi
further
everyone,
ado,
I just wanted to take a moment to introduce you to ScriptRunner Leap. It's a new brand from the brains and hearts behind ScriptRunner. It's a playground where we can work on stuff that is a bit scrappier than you are used to from us as a team, but it means that we can get these exciting, innovative tools into your hands much faster. If you haven't had a chance to go and check out the launch blog, which explains kind of what we're thinking with the creation of Leap, but I'm not going to hold back any further on the really exciting part, which is what we've been building so far. And with that, I will pass you over to Jamie.
all right. And so in order to demonstrate ScriptRunner
everyone.
Leap, we've got Jamie Eklund. Jamie, howdy, buddy. How you doing?
Hi. Hey. Hi, Ryan. Sorry, I expected Jess's bit to be a few minutes. Seconds.
No, she's just teeing you up to knock it out of the park, buddy. That's
Right.
how it goes.
Okay, well, here we go. Let me share the screen. Yeah. So I've been working on a few tools that we're releasing under the Leap brand. Jess, that was a very brief intro from Jess, but the thing about Leap is we're trying to get things out to market, get them out to the customers early so that you can tell us what works and what doesn't work. So I'm going to show you a few of the things that I think have promise. There are several experiments that failed. I want to hear feedback. Someone saying something? You saying something, Ryan?
No, go on. I was laughing about you saying that some of the experiments have failed.
Yeah, and I would show you the failures if I had time. They're a bit more interesting. But do let us know. Try these new tools and let us know how we can improve them or whether you think they're useful, because currently they're not integrated with the apps, but they could be. So let's on to the first one then, which is fairly plain old vanilla JQL generation through AI. Now, this is available. Atlassian have implemented this for Jira Cloud. We've done this for DC. The version, even if they do this for DC, which they probably won't, it won't know about the JQL functions provided by plugins. And specifically, our version knows about ScriptRunner JQL functions, which have some quite complicated syntax. So let's just dive in. So you click this text to JQL link here, and then you'd say what you want. So say issues that I commented on in the last week. You'd think kind of intuitively that this would be kind of out of the box query, but in fact it does require plugins. For instance, ScriptRunner. So you click to JQL, it will go in the background, generate a query, and then what we'll do is we'll validate it with Jira, and well, let's just see. So we use issue functions, so that's the ScriptRunner magical custom field that provides all of the functions. So commented is one of our JQL functions, and then that takes a string like that. So that's not easy to do, particularly for a layperson. The other advantage about doing it within Jira is, as I said, we validate the query that we generate, and we can tweak it if necessary. So let's extend this. Extend my query a bit. So I said issues I commented in the last week in a particular project. Now it's like in the SR Jira project. Now the project is actually called SR Jira, the key. And if you watch when I click to JQL, hopefully you'll see that it corrects itself. So first of all, it gets this will fail validation, and then it will be corrected. And then I can view an issue navigator. And indeed, this is a issue I commented in the last week. In fact, I just did that before the meeting. So I got something. So that's a plugin. It's like free plugin. I haven't put it on Marketplace. If you want to try it, get in touch through, however you like. You can also try it on leap.scriptrunnerhq.com, which there are links. I'm sure somebody will be putting links in the chat now to all of these tools. You can try it here, and this is embedded in the documentation. It doesn't work as well because it's not attached to any Jira instance, so it can't correct things like custom field names or project names or that sort of thing, which is one of the kind of big advantages. I'm trying to guess what the questions are. If you don't have ScriptRunner, it will help where it can. Let's just see if I'll try it. We'll try a query that shouldn't require ScriptRunner. So if you don't have ScriptRunner but you need ScriptRunner, it's going to give you the query, and it will say you need ScriptRunner. But if you don't have ScriptRunner, it's still we try to be helpful. If it was good, then tell us, and if it was bad, also tell us. And if you get a bad response, please let us know why. And this is this kind of up-down feedback mechanism is available through all of the tools. Okay, so I just covered that. So going on to the next one. Got it. Jira expressions. The Jira expressions are used in ScriptRunner for Jira Cloud. So you use as conditions, validators, and in listeners. It's not Groovy, it's not TypeScript. It's a kind of a JavaScript-like language invented by Atlassian, which is, to be fair, is pretty powerful. But it doesn't understand custom field names. So like looking up the IDs of things are pretty painful. So we've got this tool. Let's just look at this issue. Yeah, 271. I'll just open this issue up. So let's say I want to build a condition which says that my custom field, which is a multi-select, contains oranges. It's got some other values, but it contains oranges. So what would I do? I'll say subcomponent, blah, 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 and then click generate. I need to give it a ticket so that it can pull out the relevant custom fields. This is taking longer than it should do. Oh, there we go. And it writes the expression and it tests it on this issue. Now, it looks a bit more convoluted than you might type, because it's important to check whether there's any value at all. Otherwise, you're going to get effectively a null pointer exception if there's no value for this field. And I think that's really easy it's a really easy mistake to make, and it's going to mess up your execution history, although it will fail in a safe way. So this is your expression, and then what we do is we take the generated expression and ask AI to convert it back into English, and that's what this is here. So you can change it, you can retest it, and this should be true as well, because I think it was oranges and lemons. You can get it to explain it again, and it will update. This is kind of important because the AI is very keen to please, and sometimes it will, if you don't give it as much, if you don't give it enough information, it will make assumptions and it may jump to the wrong conclusion. So backtracking from the generated code to the explanation, if you kind of check that against that, you can tell whether it's gone a little bit too far. Okay, so let's just like tweak this. So subcomponent contains only the value, blah blah blah. And yes, this is correct. If you don't like the response, just get it to have another go. and let us know if it was good or whatever. Yeah, and it does quite complex stuff that I could work this out myself, but I can't be bothered to look up like the IDs of these custom fields. Or let's try another one. So I want to only allow the conditioned action if the current user is whatever in the administrator's role. So you can tweak the code and look at so you can work out what's happening here. So users passed into the binding as his project. If I just modify this and test, let's see what this gives me. This gives me an array of objects having a name and an ID, which is why this code works. So sum means it will return true if any of these things match. So if I wanted to use the ID instead, because for instance, I want to change the name of the role, then that would be an easy, I could see what I needed to do here. ID equals 1002 or whatever. Okay. I'm currently looking at migrations. It's migrating from DC to cloud. Obviously, that's a problem. And so I'm using tools like this, and the next other one I'm going to show you to, we're going to look at all of the scripts in an instance. In this case, we've got a condition that says the button should be hidden if the issue was resolved more than 6 months ago. And that's the code. And like, I didn't write this code. This should be a one-liner, but it isn't. It's quite complicated. It's unnecessarily complicated. But with AI, we can convert all of this code to a description and an instruction to another tool, and then that can convert it to the actual expression that we'll need in Jira Cloud. But I'd like to get to a point where I can sort of test it from this page, and then you can work your way through the list of scripts that you need to convert. Okay, finally, let's go on to behavior. So, I mean, I guess if it's not obvious, you take your expression and you copy it into here, and then ideally it would be a bit more joined up. I'm sure it will be at one point. Right, so the next tool is Behaviours. I'm going to need to sign into Jira. With the expressions tool and this tool, you'll need to sign into Jira. Choose your instance. So here it remembers what I last selected, but you need to choose a project and issue type. And it's important that, so what this tool is about is generating behavior code. I probably should have shown it, but I don't have enough time to show you how it looks like currently in cloud. So this is a kind of facsimile of the Jira, of the screen with all of the fields and their default values and so on. And then you'll tell the bot what you want to do, and it will write you the code. So let's start with we've got these fields down here, radio buttons and checkboxes. They're not that imaginatively named. The IDs are shown. I can turn that off. I can show that I can turn the IDs off. But it is useful because you need to refer to all these things by ID in cloud. It's useful to see what the IDs are. So this is quite long, but so what I want is when this maybe button is checked, I want to hide this equivalent, well, this checkbox with the same name from this field. This is pretty convoluted, but it's quite common to have a situation where when a select list value or a radio button is checked, you're going to show another field or hide another field, make it read-only, mandatory or whatever. So we let it do its thing. It gives us a bit of spiel and it will write the code. After the code's written, we'll type check that automatically. And if there are any mistakes, then we go back and forward and have another go. That's the slightly slow bit there. Now, the code has been written and it automatically gets run. So just double check. We want this to happen on change. So when we change this, this code will execute. So let's try clicking that. And that the maybe option did disappear. And when I unchecked it, it came back. So as the code runs, we can just make sure that there are no uncaught exceptions here. You can edit the code directly here. So I could I could hide the no button instead, the no option, which is pointless. So you can either edit it here and copy it back into behaviors, or you can add more instructions. You can tell the AI to modify it further. So I can say, yeah, so no harm in saying thanks, being polite. Do the same for the other two options. And yeah, and hopefully it will write the code for, let's let it do its thing. Don't know how much time I've got. I feel like I'm running out of time. Can you give me a time check, Ryan?
Yeah, absolutely. Coming right up, sir.
Coming up to time.
No, you started a little early, so I think we're okay. Katie or Lisa will confirm for me in a moment.
Okay.
You have 2 minutes. Go.
Okay, cool. So there's the longer code, and you can see that it's doing what we asked it to. If there is a problem, this will be a cross, and you can click it and get the AI to give you help on what the problem was and maybe rewrite the script for you. Let's just look at one final example then. I'm going to refresh because this is an unrelated example, and because it works well as a conversation, if you're starting with a new topic, then just refresh the page. Otherwise, you might not get a great result. So what I want to do is set the description field on load to be a bulleted list of issue keys and summaries of the 5 most recently created issues assigned to me. So this is quite complicated because it involves a REST call and it involves ADF, Atlassian document format. It will be a struggle for me to do this by hand. I mean, it'd be like a day's work. I don't like the look of that, to be honest, but we'll see. So description on load, it ran. It's not bad. It doesn't look proper for some reason. Oh yeah, because, well, okay, you know what? If you don't like it, just get it to do it again. See if you get a better response. That didn't look like proper ADF.
Jamie, you ought to talk to whoever's programming that language model.
Right? Have a word with someone. I'm still not happy, but like if I did it again, I'm sure it would be better. You get the gist of it. ADF is a very complicated thing to do by hand. Yeah. So what else?
Well, Jamie, we are at time, but ScriptRunner Leap is amazing. Folks, these tools are only going to get better if you tell us what's going right and what's going wrong. Jamie's he's waiting right now for you to tell him the problem.
I'm waiting for you to click one of these buttons because what I've seen so far is there's been reasonable usage, but I haven't really seen much of people saying, yeah, that was good or that was bad. Somebody said that this box is too small, but there's a scroll bar, so you can tell us as much info as you want, or just send us info through any other means that I'm sure somebody will be putting in the chat.
Oh yeah, so jump into ScriptRunner Leap. See, I made a jump into the, anyway, get into ScriptRunner Leap, hit those up and down buttons. Let us know what's working and what's not. Jamie's over there just waiting for you to tell him what's broken. He wants to hear it. All right, so let us know. Leap is so cool, Jamie. Thank you very much. And finally, for today's quarterly product update, we have advanced automation for Monday.com featuring Marie Bew, sorry, excuse me. Marie, what's going on?
Okay, wow. Just to keep building on your pun, my name is Marie and I'm with the new ecosystem team and we're leaping into new ecosystems. I had to, you put it up there.
I did.
So we're looking for how we can create value and help customers outside of the Atlassian space. And we've actually started doing that with advanced automations for Monday, which is great for customers who want to have a bit more complex automations where the native automations or the drag and drop solutions just doesn't really quite cut it. Because we're one of the first scripting tools, so you can go as far as JavaScript will take you. We're also brilliant for consultants because it's a very you still have the chance to get that first mover advantage and establish yourself as a complex automation expert. You can see there's a lot of interesting things happening in that market space because it's really in development. As a consultant, then with multiple clients, you'll also be able to set up and configure the automations in one central location, because you'll just use the advanced automations rather than going into each individual's Monday instance and set it up for one board and the next board and the next board or across. Because having a scripting solution as well means you can actually copy and paste. So everything you build for one customer, you can also automate across the client base that you've got. So yeah, some really, really cool stuff happening. We'll link a Calendly link. So if you want to see it in action, you jump on it. Happy to show you. But yeah, so that's kind of our first step in, but I'm also here then to have a bit more call to action or more of an invitation, you might say, because we already know as ScriptRunner, we have a lot of happy customers with the strong capabilities within the Atlassian ecosystems, but we would love to connect to see on the next slide with the rest of you to see how can we help you scale and grow outside of that space. So we would love to hear what other product suites you're looking for, where else you can see the ScriptRunner capabilities being utilized, how can we help you go to the next step in your journey. So yeah, either for a demo or telling us where to go next with you, please click the link and put in some time. We'd love to hear from you.